that old saying, when the going gets tough, the tough get going? Well, turns out Indian exporters have taken that quite seriously. In a month when the United States slammed India with its harshest tariffs in decades, some as high as 50%, you would think that exports would crash, right? Well, India decided to seize the opportunity. In August, India's total exports did not fall. They actually grew nearly 7%, touching $35 billion. So, quick refresher. Starting 6th August, the US imposed 25% tariffs on almost all Indian imports. Then just weeks later, another 25% penalty was slapped on India for buying discounted Russian oil. Put together, that's 50% duty on Indian goods entering the US, the highest rate India has faced in years. And the US is still India's biggest trade partner, so this was not just a small blow. Exports to the US did grow in August, but only 7% compared to the nearly 20% in July. Clearly, the tariff pain was real. But here's where the tables turned. India rerouted their trade strategy. Instead of depending on America alone, exporters doubled down on China, the Netherlands, the UAE, Hong Kong, South Africa, Italy, Nepal, Bangladesh, quite literally everywhere else. Exports to China jumped 22%, Hong Kong 62%, UAE 23%, Netherlands 18%, even South Africa and Italy saw nearly 20% jumps. Electronics, engineering goods, pharma, gems, and jewelry all went global. Now let's look at an interesting take. Can India route exports through other countries to avoid the US tariffs? Now, there's an interesting theory floating online. Are Indian exporters quietly routing their goods through third countries just to dodge US tariffs? Trade experts say nope, not that simple. Under America's rules of origin, a product made in India remains Indian even if it goes via Singapore or Dubai. So, if you ship a bottle from India to Singapore which only faces 10% tariffs and then send it to the US, it will still get hit with a 50% tariff. But if India ships raw materials like sodium silicate to Singapore and the bottle is actually manufactured there, then it officially becomes a Singaporean product and only gets a 10% tariff. In short, rerouting won't save you, remanufacturing will. The real fireworks have not even started. In September, the US introduced a 100% tariff on imported patented pharmaceuticals and just now on movies made outside the USA, which also includes Indian movies. Those numbers will show up in October's trade data. So if this continues, one of two things will happen. Either India becomes less dependent on the US and builds a more diversified export base, or the US realizes the tariffs are not isolating India, they're just pushing India into deeper trade partnerships with everyone else. In geopolitics, pressure can crush you, or it can push you to expand. And right now, India seems to have chosen to expand and diversify. For more such stories like this, stay tuned to Mint.